firing tactical Alecto, you'd better start running.
Hey everyone. So, Lady Alecto here, and as a long-time TTRPG player and veteran DM of 20 plus years, I feel the need to tell a story. This isn't directed at the players, this is for Arrowhead. So, as another favorite game put it, stay a while and listen. Back in the Shadowrun 3rd edition campaign, yes, I'm old, can it? I had a mission that became known as Operation Stuff Storm. My players were given a week to take out 3 targets. In the interest of time, and frankly it doesn't matter, I'll spare you the plot, but here's what I, as a DM, did. I planned out their home lives. I planned out their work lives. I planned out their routes to and from. I planned every single way I thought my players could get to them, above and below, as one lived in a high security penthouse. In short, I thought I had it covered. This is the part where I'm certain other DMs listening are about to laugh and say the exact thing that happened. No, I did not. These mad lads that are my players somehow managed to lure all 3 targets into a single location, caused complete chaos, and took them all out in a single night. As I threw the notebook into the air and said, "Well, we're doing it live." There's a saying in the military very fitting for this situation, and the one we're in now. No plan survives first contact with the enemy, or your player base. And in the case of a very determined player base, players will find a way. Yes, I like my references by me. So for those asking, Alecto, are you going to get to the point anytime soon? Here it is. For the Helldiver vets, I mean, going back to the creek, playing since the start crowd, I'm sure you know this too. You don't have a story without player engagement. Your players will find ways to derail your story. But, big but, that's where the magic is. Malevelon Creek was literally of no value whatsoever back then. But what did we do? We held the line. We made it part of the story we told ourselves. Calypso, winning by seconds. Popley, we smashed the bot advance in a brilliant tactical play, and Malevelon Creek round 2 never even happened. Seychelles Beach, it's Ozcan because the player said, "Yeah, we're doing this." And that right there is what keeps us playing. Not getting fluffin', railroaded, or scripted, or spoon-fed story, which, frankly, that very vague roadmap is. It's not forced either into what, frankly, was a seriously unfun situation for a lot of us who had half our kit gone, which, into the end, just was. Before we even discuss the tanker missions and the countless videos showing Hive Lords wrecking it, or Dragon Roach spam pre-wing HP changes, or the fact Arrowhead directly contradicted their own mentality when they say that stratagems are what players are supposed to be using, and then taking basically every single red stratagem away. And not where the player base either actively hurt a campaign by playing without participating, or in some cases deliberately sabotaged it by team killing during the invasion of Sabistan, due to the Helldiver remaining budget quota. Quite possibly the most scripted event we've come out of so far, with again enemies, terrain, and battles that were frankly not fun. Ask anybody who watched the Vox engine wall hack through a gate, and they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. In the past few months in this regard, Arrowhead, you've been a really lousy DM. The single biggest issue with Helldivers right now for me, it's not the durable damage nonsense. It's not your mystifying balance decisions. It's not the monkey's paw as the term has become. It's something you need to address, and you need to be honest about it. Because you can't force engagement. You can't just throw more numbers, bigger enemies, or harder scenarios. You can't keep expecting Warbond hype to last forever when the Warbond list is now impossibly bloated for any new player. You can't expect us to stay engaged when you do not fix bugs that people have been reporting for years. When we're watching enemies still wall hack, we're still getting stuck on terrain, and there are still QL improvements that need doing. And on top of that, you're falling into the power trap of creep as well, where everything has to keep being number go up to counter bigger threat, which has left a good chunk of the kit struggling. And I'm not just talking about giving the spear an extra missile here. And you frankly have made multiple cheese rolls behind the DM screen telling us things like you can't buff the one true flag for space magic when we literally saw the cyborgs doing it. This isn't a call to nerf or buff for that matter. If you're thinking that listening to this video, you're wrong. But don't even get me started on the fire damage stealth nerfs and the lies around the coyote here. Regardless, I invite you to look at what happened. You created a huge Xbox crossover event. You got the player base to numbers close to what we hadn't seen since launch. Then you took all those players, all that engagement, and you threw it in the one Hive world. One that was poorly designed, limited our stratagems, and frankly wasn't fun to play. You literally made both me and Pondera, two of the biggest HD enthusiasts out there, go, yeah, fluff this. We're gonna go play other games for a while and have a better time of it. Speaking of, how are those numbers? Updating from when I originally wrote this, September 3rd, 2025, shortly after the Xbox crossover launch. Peak 178,795 players. December 3rd, 2025. Into the unjust launch, we're already down to 69,646. Aftermath of that, anywhere between 45,000 to 37,000. February 11th, 2026. Cyberstan peaked at 173,188. 1 month later, that was 55,427. Where did these players go, Arrowhead? They left because, again, when you launched the Xbox crossover, you gave us a world of options, a free for all on every front, and then said, no, we have to advance the story how I, the DM, and how I, Arrowhead, want. I don't care if you have plot scripts in the background. I don't care if they have branching paths. That's not an excuse to say, oh, but see, it's not a scripted fail, which has been the case with a lot of recent major orders that you then seem to have to go back, tweak, or give us an advantage we didn't have previously to get it completed. And either way, you're still railroading us. You're still leading your players by the nose instead of letting the players engage with the story. And this is where players get bored, get annoyed, and leave because, say it with me, you have taken away our agency. There is no point in playing out a story if the DM is going to just move the story along any way how they want, regardless of player interaction. A good DM adapts, such as how you made the Creek part of the Helldivers lore. You gave us a chance to make Popular happen the way it did. You let us create with you. You gave the Ursan Corps free FRVs when you saw what players were doing for the recent liberation of Ursica, which, again, is where the fun is, which is where the magic is, which is where the lore is, which is where the story is engaged with, not just throwing bodies at Hive Lords or the Predator strain and confining us to how you want it to play out. Or, and this is a big one for me, yet another undocumented change regarding the Spore Burst strain. Look, it's fun the first time, like when bot gunships launched, but did you notice how, like those, like the Rupture strain, like the Predator strain, like I will bet 20 super credits the Spore Burst will be too, you had to tone them all down. You had to rethink them, and you forced your players, in the meantime, into specific metas that counter them. You threw your players against a poorly planned scenario, then you wondered why your players stopped coming to the table. Arrowhead, you lost those of us who play for fun, who just want a few missions after a hard day of work, not having to build craft or play something or a faction we don't like, or have to play said MO in that faction because it's impossible to do anything to the map otherwise. Again, Arrowhead, play agency. Give it to us. Allow me to join the chorus of those saying, if a player clan has the manpower to commit to taking a planet the way we did Ursica, give us more of that. Let us make an impact. Remove the Galactic War modifier already. Penalizing both major order and non-major order players by using it has hamstrung the war. To quote another community member, hat tip to Commissar Kai here, when the largest player communities out there cannot dent a planet because of resistance rates or the Galactic War mod being what it is, something is very wrong with your story. But I suspect you either can't, or more to the point, won't remove it. Because then we could map sweep is the fear. Here's the other thing, Arrowhead. One DM to another. Something you got right, but now you've forgotten about. Every campaign, every story, and every adventure has to come to an end. I hated ending that Shadowrun game, mainly because even past Operation Stuffstorm, my players kept surprising me. They did things that were wild, unpredictable, and all around awesome, with real risks that if they messed up, I made sure they were quite aware they were playing without a net. There was real consequence for failure. And this is again where you've lost the magic. Your story doesn't matter if the story is going to keep going forever. If I, as a player, realize that my actions eventually will still reach a predetermined outcome by how you want the story to go, either down path A or path B, but still leading to scripted event on roadmap C, and if my loss here doesn't matter because we'll eventually make a comeback there, and if a win means we eventually reach the same point anyway, then you're not telling a story. This is a rail shooter, and you're telling us we aren't making a difference. Which, real talk, is insulting as hell. Let us lose. Not just an MO, not just one of your planned campaigns, but the whole damn war. Go back to the Helldivers 1 mindset, because frankly, I'm bored. I'm not enjoying myself. I want to keep broadcasting, but it's hard to do when you seem to be actively fighting against us. I'm not your enemy. Players never are. But if you keep treating us such, if you keep tweaking numbers or throwing forced curveballs because we don't play how you want, the Charger leg break being a perfect example of this, again, it is bad DMing and it is worse storytelling. Kai made a very good point here. You're great at cake, Cyberstan, but we need soup, actual meaning to the war. But I think you only got it half right. What we need isn't rewards per se for MO wins. That's just a carrot on a string. But we do need reasons to actually engage with the war, not just follow the blob and wherever it pulls the DSS. The forever war trope exists for a reason, and it's been deconstructed enough in books that share the title. Heck, we made the Creek Space Vietnam already. But the war stories that came out of it, the jokes, the memes, the players, that was a time to be playing this game. It's at its best when you let us do that. Because at the end of the day, you've shown us that win or lose, fights like Osha Une and Cyberstan don't matter. Because the story grinds on. The next curveball will happen. The void will take up chunk of the map. But again, it doesn't matter because there's no end. Victory is meaningless without a real tangible result from it. Defeat is meaningless when there is no real consequence for it. So I ask you, why do we keep playing when we know in the end neither matters? You want to make this grand stage you created mean something. You want to make the Galactic War map mean something. Let it mean something then. Let us lose for real. Let us win for real. Let us wipe a faction off the map. I don't care if that ticks people off who hate one or the other, because frankly, I hate bugs anyway. I'd happily go spill oil all day. Let the bug divers do their thing, and we'd both in the end get what we want. Liberation, victory, or Super Earth in Flames. Reset the clock. Let's go again. It'd be a chance for new stories to be made, and your players to keep finding ways to surprise you. Or we can keep going the way we have. I'm sure it'll be fine. Except it's not. With the exception of the numbers being updated, I wrote a majority of this script 6 months ago. I was going to ask Pon if I could broadcast it on her channel since I had not started doing so yet. And Arrowhead, it hasn't gotten better. If anything, it's gotten worse. A game for everyone is a game for no one. You need to scrap this outdated, tiresome line. A game for everyone is a game where the players are allowed to participate in the story, not be handed it, and not actively fought against when they object. Let us write our own. The DM's job isn't to just tell the story, it's to create a world to let the story exist in, as told by the players, with your help. Forget that at your peril. Lady Alecto out.